Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Raptors Den, presented to you by Faulty Logics. This is Dan. I'm here, your host and fantasy basketball god, and we also have again here Peter, co-host. And yeah, with no guest today, maybe next week, but yeah, we gotta do.
We are looking for a third guest rotation. If you guys are interested, definitely leave a comment in the comment section down below. We'll be more than happy to talk to you guys.
I know we haven't been around for like 2 weeks. I don't know. We only put out like one official episode, and then
That's
we went on
true.
a break.
That's true. Well,
Winter holidays,
yeah,
got to do stuff with
Christmas, New
family.
Year's.
Hard to schedule, but so that just means we have that much more stuff to talk about this week. First thing I want to get off to is the contest that we had originally on the first episode. Seems like it's gonna be a bit of a harder target to hit than we expected. So what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna change up the contest. Once we get 100 subscribers, we're gonna give away two Google Play gift cards, $15 each. So there's gonna be two opportunities to win. Yeah, 100 subscribers. Follow us on YouTube. Leave a comment in the comment section below on the channel. Just suggesting something you would like us to hear us to talk about, and then we'll pick from there, contact you, and have the credit Google Play
Gift
card
cards either mailed out to you. We can meet up if you're somewhere close in the GTA. We can make it work. Just main thing is get those subscriptions coming in, comments coming as well. That's the main thing for this contest.
Yeah, get your friends or family to sign up as well too, because it'll help hit that 100 so that you can win. But yeah, I guess so. Starting off as usual, we're gonna start off with some Raptors news.
So I know in the last couple weeks here, the main piece of news circling the Raptors organization is the if and would they retire Vince Carter's jersey. I know that is a big debate in the Raptors circles that I'm running around in right now. A lot of people are saying yes, you have to retire Vince Carter's jersey. Other people are saying no, he's a quitter. We don't like that in the Raptors organization. It's a never ending debate. I would definitely like to put my own 2 cents into it. If it is from my point of view, I'm sort of split on the decision. Yes, Vince Carter's jersey needs to be retired for the Raptors for all he has done in his 7 or 8 seasons that he was a part of the Raptors organization. He has changed the culture of basketball, not only in the city of Toronto, almost nationally wide in all of Canada.
Yeah.
Yes, so saying that quickly, we'll go in a little bit more into depth about that. Yes, he should be retired. Also, no, he should not be retired. Just about the last season, maybe season and a half that he had with the Raptors, where it was evident that he gave up on the organization. Do you want to reward quitters and people that sacrifice for the league, such as like I don't want to throw anyone specific names out here, but there have been the Amir Johnsons that were there for the Raptors, that were there from day one, that always wanted to be a Raptor, didn't stay out the whole career. There's the Morris Petersons that their jersey should be retired as well. But then should his jersey be retired first over those Raptor players that wanted to be a Raptor that just didn't stay the whole time? So there's that debate there as well. If I have to make a decision, I would have to say you have to retire his jersey purely for all of the good things and all of the notoriety he has brought to the organization. But how do you feel about this there, Dan?
For me personally, I've never had an issue with Vince Carter leaving the city. I've always like I always understood why. So I never had a negative view on Vince Carter. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, I get it. We're not giving you what you need. We're not treating you the way that you want to be treated. So obviously, you're not happy here. You're gonna want to be happy somewhere else, right? So I understood on that aspect, but other than that,
I agree with that aspect as well. But there were better ways to show
For
your
sure.
disapproval of the way the franchise is being run, but then the way he did it, faking
Right.
injuries, not reporting the practices,
Right.
things like that nature. I understand we weren't supplying the players he needs to win a championship.
right?
Get that. There were better ways to leave than making it public and league known that you want out of the city. That just takes away all your trade value.
Yeah.
So now everyone knows that you want out. We can't sell you for what you're actually worth because everyone knows that we'll just make you sit there and you won't want to play with us and you just tank our season.
Right.
But
at the end of the day, he put us on the map.
He very well did. He absolutely did. With that dunk competition that he won,
Yep.
those 2 playoff runs that he had with us when he put down multiple 50-point games in the playoffs, that's unheard of. Especially with the cast that he had around him. They weren't the best players around him. We understand that. But Cleveland first stint in the Cavaliers, he didn't have the best crew around him. Still
LeBron,
went to LeBron. What did I say? I said Kobe.
Cleveland.
As Cleveland. LeBron James's first stint with the Cavaliers, he didn't have the best team around him. He still made it work, and yes, his leaving was not good. He sort of just up and left them.
Maybe like the worst ever.
The worst ever. Well, rivaling Vince Carter's. But he did it without significantly hurting the team for value. Because we traded Vince for absolutely garbage.
Yeah.
Absolutely garbage. At least when LeBron left, it was contractual. He didn't have a contract. He was free to go wherever he wanted to go.
Right.
Vince had to stay with us, didn't want to stay with us, so we had to deal him or we would have nothing.
For peanuts.
Exactly. So he hurt us more as an organization than what LeBron did. Of course, LeBron devastated the Cavaliers. Like, don't get me wrong. I just think our rebuild was much longer than the Cavaliers' rebuild. Mostly because of drafting. They did draft Kyrie a couple years after, which sort of turned the franchise around, where our draft history has just been absolutely atrocious.
They got a lot of high draft picks, actually, Cleveland.
Ton of high draft picks for a lot of mediocre trades.
Yeah.
But our draft history has just been garbage. So it's not all on Vince, but the starting point was Vince Carter's fault.
Mm-hmm. But I like how you mentioned that he had an impact on basketball nationwide for us. And I think it even went beyond that, because not even just nationwide, like players in the States grew up looking up to him as well, too. You hear a lot of professional players saying, like, oh, man, I grew up wanting to dunk like Vince.
Exactly.
Right? So it was... He definitely put us on the map.
Or you do get that odd player that was coming up like Kevin Durant, who said his favorite team growing up was the Raptors.
Right.
That would have never happened if we didn't have an American superstar like Vince lead us to where he took us. Saying that, I have been reading online, though. Everyone's been saying, yes, Vince Carter did it. If it wasn't Vince that got drafted, the other, like, whoever we would have drafted instead, Antoine Jameson might have potentially done what Vince Carter did. A lot of circumstances, if we didn't get Vince, would have another American superstar did what he could have done.
We might have kept T-Mac.
And then he could have been what Vince did for us. Or a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. Even if Vince didn't come and we waited the extra 10 to 12 years and waited for Chris Bosh to come, could he have put us on the map? Like, because Chris Bosh had a great career when he was with the Raptors.
He did, but...
So, if he was the very first superstar, would he have done the same pedigree as Vince Carter? Arguments, yes and no. He wasn't as flashy as Vince Carter. Everyone likes the flash. Everyone likes the dunks. But I think if it wasn't Vince Carter, I think we might have found another person who would have brought us to that plateau, because it was inevitable. Canada is a basketball hotbed. We have great players. It was going to happen with or without Vince Carter, I feel.
Right.
It was sped up with Vince Carter, though. But
kind of slightly off topic here. If you're Oklahoma City, do you retire Durant's jersey?
Questions. That's off topic, but very relevant to this conversation. I don't think you could. I don't.
He took you to the finals.
He did. He was only there for what, 5 years?
No, he was there for quite a while. He's been on Seattle, so he was drafted on Seattle.
True. That's true. So yeah, it's about 5 to 6 years that he's with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah. Questions. We'll have to go into the record books. I haven't seen what kind of records he holds for the franchise as that, because Vince Carter held a handful of our franchise records when he did leave the team. Yes, a couple of them have been broken by Chris Bosh, DeMar DeRozan. Kyle Lowry has a couple of them here and there. But so it does depend on the franchise and his mark that he left on the franchise itself. Mm-hmm. Durant's left mark on the franchise might not have been as great as what Vince left, purely because we were a newer franchise. If you're looking at just the Thunder aspect of the franchise, yes, you would have to retire Kevin Durant's jersey. He was the best player you had
Right.
before your team was made.
Right.
Until Westbrook came, and now he's going to break all the records, and now he's going to be your best player. But if you're looking at the whole franchise Sonics history as well, I don't think you can retire it.
True. I would agree the same way too. Like if it's just looking at the Thunder, then I think you have to. As much as it's kind of similar to how we hated Vince Carter right off the bat. Like maybe a few years down the road, maybe it'll take 10.
Hopefully not 10, but Vince Carter took 10.
Yeah, maybe at that point they'll start appreciating what KD did and forget about it, but who knows?
Have a nice montage video like they did for Vince Carter last season or 2 seasons ago, and then that would just change the perspective that the fans have.
Yeah.
Potentially. But a good segue here after we were talking about Vince Carter's mark that he left on the franchise and Durant's mark on the franchise, we would not be a good Raptors podcast mainly if we did not talk about the performance DeMar DeRozan had on New Year's Day against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Dude.
52 points, a new franchise record for the Toronto Raptors. I am just blown away by his performance. How do you feel about that there, Dan?
The biggest thing that stood out to me in that performance was the uncharacteristic 5 3-pointers. Like, where did this come from?
5 for 9 from behind the arc, 55%. Yeah. That is so un-DeRozan-like, but I will take it every game.
Like, those aren't shots that he's even looking for, and for some reason he made 9 attempts in one game, right?
Yeah.
So that's weird. And then to add to that, the following game, he had like another 3 3-pointers.
Yes, exactly. About 3 to 4 3-pointers. The next game. He is shooting over 55% in the year of 2018. I know we're only 6 days into it. They've had 3 games. But still, if this is the sign of what to come, I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Do you think he can just all of a sudden just turn it on and click in this like new MVP DeMar DeRozan? To unlock something.
I think he maybe not MVP, that might be a stretch, but it's not like he's just turning it on out of nowhere. He has put in the work in the offseason, especially at the foul line and the 3-point line, because he's couple seasons before he put in the work for the mid-range game.
For sure.
Now he's jumped up to being one of the top 3 to 4 shooting guards in the mid-range game, maybe definitely behind James Harden, but that's about it. So now he knows he's got that aspect of his game locked down. So now he's going to be growing his game into the 3-point range and trying to facilitate more passing opportunities, such as in that 52-point game. Yes, it did go to overtime. However, he still got 52 points. People forget he also had 8 assists, only 1 turnover.
Yeah.
That is aspects of the game where he is focusing on now because he knows the scoring is going to come. But now making 8 assists in the game, that would have never happened 2 years ago when the Raptors were doing his ISO basketball.
Right.
Now that he's having a little bit of other pieces around him, the CJ Miles, Kyle Lowry's always been around him, but like the youth coming up, OG, Portal, Pascal, these guys, now he feels more comfortable passing the ball off, which is only going to make his game better, more well-rounded, and more lethal going into the long stretch of the seasons, going into playoffs. So I don't think he's just turning it on. I think it's just starting to pay off, all his hard work. I can only see good things coming out with DeMar DeRozan. I don't know if there's any negative aspects of it that we can
No negative, at least from what we're seeing right now. But do you think he can keep it up?
That's the $1 million question. Can anybody sustain greatness? Like LeBron James can. That's been proven. That's how you get to the next step. Sustaining this good play all the way through the season. I hope he can. I hope him and Dwayne Casey are working on a good game plan to sustain greatness, stay away from injuries, keeping everything running smoothly, not relying solely on DeMar's production. I hope he can sustain it. I don't see why he can't, but let's wait and see.
Talking about VC and his Toronto legacy here, DeMar DeRozan's legacy as a Raptor. What are your thoughts on whether or not DeMar DeRozan would be a lifer as a Raptor?
As a lifer
do you see him leaving the team?
As of right now in this junction, heck no. I can't see him leaving, especially when he signed that new fat contract. Especially him saying, I am Toronto, not going to any other team meetings before he signed that contract extension. I can't see him leaving. But before Vince Carter left, 2 to 3 years before Vince Carter started being really that kind of guy, if you ask me, do I see Vince Carter leaving? The same answer would have been no. Right. I do not see Vince Carter leaving. Things can change quite dramatically. There's been a lot of those situations. First time LeBron was leaving Cleveland, could you see him leave? Could you see Durant actually leaving OKC to go to the Golden State Warriors? Right. Anything can happen. I wouldn't be surprised if 5-6 years down the line, the Raptors are just not having the playoff success that DeMar wants, and he tries to win a championship with one of those contending teams. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't surprise me. That's what the game is going to. But as of right now, I think he is invested in winning with the Raptors, and he knows he is the key part of winning with the Raptors.
Right. There's a lot of talk every single year about him possibly going back to the Lakers and stuff, but to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, sure, the Lakers are his hometown, or the Compton. He's from Compton,
California State.
So, it would be nice to play for your home city, but at the end of the day, like, why would you go to the Lakers with that shitty record?
Yes, the team is doing garbage, and the media buzz would be atrocious. When you are doing garbage, you will be hounded.
Exactly. Whereas he's in a situation right now that's in a winning situation, right? Same thing with Paul George. Like, there's a lot of talk with him right now in Oklahoma City, where people are still not sure whether he's going to stay in Oklahoma or if he's going to go to the Lakers. And he's not making it any better by not confirming anything, right? So, but realistically, I don't see him going to the Lakers either.
I really don't see it either.
It really doesn't make sense for these players to go to LA unless there's like a mutiny of some sort and or collusion, and multiple guys agree to go
there. Yeah. And I totally agree with that. But we are missing another big point here as well. There were 2 teams in LA.
Yeah.
Why can't you go to the Clippers with Blake Griffin?
That's true.
They are making it. Well, there is a rumor that they're making space by dealing DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
If he goes, that's a lot more room in the cap space. A lot more room so you can bring in a potential Paul George or a DeMar DeRozan. Don't like throwing that out there because we need him to stay. But having cap space like that, you can bring in a Paul George and a nice role player to round out the already pretty nice roster that the Clippers have. They have a Lou Williams. They have Blake Griffin. They have a good bench. They have a great coach. So it's not like their team is absolute trash. It's just that they don't have the one guy who you can look to down by 4 points, 2 minutes left in the game. We are going to give you the ball. You win this game for us. They don't have that. You can't give that to Blake Griffin. He can't do that. Lou Williams, he's off the bench. He's a splash in the pan. He gets you running.
Right.
You don't have a guy that you need to knock down the last shot, which could very well be Paul George, DeMar DeRozan, or other people that are rumored to be on the trading block. Mm-hmm. The Marcus Gasols are on the trading block. I've heard Anthony Davis's name thrown around a little bit. Don't know how true those are. But so there are 2 teams in LA. Why can't you go to the Clippers?
True.
I don't know.
I think it's just mostly the prestige factor.
Of course.
Everyone wants to play for the Lakers. But I don't know. It would be nice to see the Clippers. Obviously, right now, they're ahead of the Lakers in terms of their team and everything like that. The Lakers are rebuilding. But it would be interesting to see the Lakers or the Clippers somehow surpass the Lakers fan base.
Well, I don't know if they're ever going to pass the Lakers fan base, but past the prestige where you only really remember the Lakers being the LA team.
Right.
And there's only one LA team being the Lakers. I don't know. I think it could very well happen if the Clippers just do a couple of good draft picks, make 1 or 2 good trades, get value for DeAndre Jordan if they are set on dealing him. Mm-hmm. I think it's very possible. Have to wait and see. I think it's going to be a good thing to watch.
So I want to backpedal a little bit to Vince Carter. He, over the holiday breaks or December or something like that, he said that he would like to retire a Raptor. And he said he doesn't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but he's confident that it will happen.
I'd like to see it. I would like to see, especially if it's he comes and plays a game or 2 for the Raptors. That would be cool to see, just a throwback to your childhood,
Yeah.
watching Vince Carter in the Raptors color. I'd like to see it. Do I think it's going to happen? In all honesty, I don't see it happening. I don't see him retiring as a Raptor unless he does one of those 10-day contracts, that one day sign and retire.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be a good move. Do you see it happening with the Raptors organization?
The only way that I can see it, like you said, it might be one of those sign and retire type of things. But I think it would be cool to see him back in Toronto and play. I really would like to see that, like him playing alongside like Demar DeRozan.
Yeah,
even just off the bench as a support or as a leader,
as a locker room leader. Hey, exactly. Kevin Garnett did it with the Timberwolves.
Exactly.
So it can be done. I don't see it happening. I don't really see it in Vince Carter's personality to come and, if he did come and actually play for the team, he would have to know he's coming off the bench and he is going to be that leader in the locker room. We're not looking for you to play 20, 22 minutes a game. We are looking for you to play 5 to 6, maybe 7,
in a blowout,
and have a rookie that you are sitting down and coaching the whole time. Do I see Vince Carter doing that? Vince Carter is somewhat like Kobe. He has that mentality that he is not coming off the bench. He is, if he's on the court, if he's on a team, he needs to be on the court. He needs the ball. 2 years down the line, when he's 42 or 43 years old, maybe he's going to be different if he's still playing, because he's playing at 40 and he's doing all right for the Kings. Yes, he's on the Kings. Yes, it's not the best team. There's a lot of young players. He's still being efficient. He's still putting up numbers. They're not old Vince Carter numbers, but they are still respectable numbers for being 40 years old and playing with a bunch of kids, like literally kids.
And to your point there, like him not wanting to sit on the bench or anything, he said like, yeah, he could go sign and take a minimum contract with a championship team, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to get paid what he deserves. Exactly. So he's still getting paid a nice amount. Exactly. But that's all this stuff that he's been saying in the past few years. This is the first time we've ever really heard him talk about retiring.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he's actually considering it now, or the time is coming?
I couldn't even tell you. I would like to think nobody can beat Father Time.
Yeah.
Vince is doing a pretty good job of it, though. He's making a run at it. Well, I don't know. Okay, so we can move along here. There's been some big changes here. I know one big thing that was upsetting most of the fan base was the lack of Christmas jerseys.
Oh, yes.
So instead of the Christmas jerseys, the NBA has tried to, this new initiative where they were trying to release city jerseys, where they are more tailored to the city that they are representing. There have been a lot of good jersey designs, a lot of okay jersey designs, and a lot of what the heck are those? And are you wearing those? What's going on here? So just going over some of those city jerseys and the lack of Christmas jerseys, how do you feel about that there, Dan?
It's interesting because like the Christmas jerseys, honestly, I probably would never buy a Christmas jersey. Same as an All-Star jersey, like I feel like it's a 1 year type of thing. It's cool to look at, and I think last year they had like them as T-shirts or something too.
Yeah, right? they were full T-shirt jerseys.
Yeah, so they're trying to like sell these T-shirt things. The Christmas jerseys, I'm not that hyped up about or whatever. It's not a big deal to me. What for me is just Nike. Like, what are you doing with your jerseys? Like,
at the beginning of the season and preseason, they were ripping on players.
Right.
So
I don't know. These city jerseys, it's kind of cool that they're trying to be able to represent your town a little bit more. But some of them are pretty lackluster. I've been looking at it, but some of them look really cool.
It's true. I think it was a great initiative, good idea. Some teams, I don't know who was behind designing these for the certain teams. I don't know if it was the team designing them or if Nike designed them for the city.
Or whether it's one guy from Nike designing all of them.
All of them, or if they contracted it out to like people in the area, if they were like fans putting in their own. I don't know how that went down.
Right.
But some of them have been just all over the place. But then the other of them have been very good, very clean. Some of them have been very simplistic. One of them that's not my favorite, not the worst of it, is the Philadelphia 76ers jersey.
Okay.
I know you, Dan, being a 76ers fan, deep down, I don't know how you feel about it, but I like the simplicity of the 76ers jersey. Just nice and cream colored, Philly on the front or Phila on the
Yeah.
front. It looked clean, to the point, represented the city well. I don't know, it wasn't the best jersey I saw, but I liked it.
The Philadelphia jersey I'm looking at right now, what it looks like to me, it seems like they would use that more for like a hardwood classics
Yes,
retro
a
jersey,
retro
you know.
jersey.
Like when I look
Dr.
at that
J.
jersey, I'm imagining short shorts.
Yep. Imagine Dr. J under the rim, reach
Yeah.
around. Hey, that's what their culture
Yeah.
is. It's nitty gritty, hard nosed, old school Philadelphia. I think it's very spot on to their culture that they are representing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, it's definitely speaks to Philly basketball. I don't know too much about the city itself, and I don't know if it represents the city, but it definitely speaks Philadelphia basketball.
That's fair. That is very true. So we can always do our top three favorite of these city jerseys and our top three lackluster bad jersey designs. We can always post a link in the bottom if you would like to see these jerseys that we were talking about here. If you haven't, a quick Google
It's an easy
search,
Google search.
NBA city jerseys. There would be a nice list of them all, and there are a lot of rankings of them all. But quickly there, Dan, if you do have a top three favorite list, what are your top three favorite city jerseys?
So it's funny because I was the one that wanted to do the top three, and I didn't come up with top threes. But I have different jerseys that I want to talk about.
Fair enough.
So, which one are you doing? Top three or worst three right now?
Let's start off with the top three. We can
Top
always go
three?
to the worst three after because that's always the funnier part.
Okay, so not to be a homer or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Raptors jersey came out later than the other ones did, but I think it looks sick.
Yes.
Like it looks really different from the other from the other cities. Nice black and gold color, and it just simply says North on it. It speaks like volumes. It's straight to the point. It hits you hard. I love it.
I love the Raptor jersey as well. I know we are somewhat biased. The one feel that was a little bit missed for me, I like the black and gold. I think it's super clean. I think they should have went a different way, a different color pattern for the city jersey. Black and gold has no representation of Toronto, Canada, or the Raptors organization.
The only thing that I can think of is just they're trying to link it with Drake and OVO.
With OVO, that is the only thing that I can wrap my head around. Yes, OVO is huge in Toronto in the last couple of years, but if we are talking as a whole 20-something year Raptor franchise trying to hone in on that aspect, black and gold only came around in what, 2015?
Right.
Not even. So I think they should have went red, which is Canada's not. I don't know if we have a national color, but that is what people think of when you think of Canada. Or they could have threw it back to the purple pinstripes. I like the purple pinstripes. I think it was great. I like the color, the black and gold pattern though, but I don't know if it's is the best way to signify what Toronto is.
I think they could have even looked into a black and white, or I'm sorry, blue and white.
Blue and white.
To kind of throw homage at the Blue Jays and the Maple Leafs. And that would be pretty cool, too.
And Toronto's flag, the city flag, is blue with a white T on it.
Right.
Blue and white. So I think they could have went a couple different ways with the color. Yes, maybe a maple leaf here or there. I saw it is on their waistband. That's nice. I like the North because that's what our branding is going to. That's what we need to represent. One thing I could change, if I could change anything, color pattern. Everything else on the design is spot on. I love it.
It's fantastic.
The arrows pointing up, the North, everything over, nothing over us, team over everything. I like that. Another good one that I would like to throw out there, not in any particular order, the Atlanta Hawks jersey.
Okay.
I love that jersey. That color scheme of the neon green and the all black. Very nice, very clean. But going back to the color pattern, I don't know the city of Atlanta that well. I don't know where these colors are coming from. I like the colors. I like the neon green. I like the crisscross on the sides. I think it's a very nice, clean jersey. I know if I was a part of the Hawks organization, I would rock that with pride, for sure.
So I got one more that I low key really like. The Lakers jersey. It's super simple. It has that classic Lakers logo on it, but the detail in the fabric, it's snakeskin. That's Black Mamba, man.
Yeah, that is a Kobe reference. But then again, Kobe was their revolutionary player in the last decade, well, 2 decades, because he played for 20 years. I like it too. I like the Lakers jersey as well.
Yeah, that just that detail, attention to detail with that snakeskin pattern. Oh my goodness, I thought that was just low key, like, yo, check this out, we're gonna hit you.
Being a little bit
on
different,
the flight side, yeah.
And that's always the Lakers' mantra: being a little bit different and a little bit better than everybody else in the league.
Yeah.
Another last one that I like out of my top 3, like my top 3 were Atlanta Hawks jersey. I love the Portland Trailblazer Rip City jersey. I think that one is super clean. I love it as well. Simple also. Red writing, black background. Stands out. Rip City. Yeah. Not sure where that came from for the city of Portland, where Rip City came from. Love it. You've seen it for the last 3 to 4 years.
Right.
Everyone representing Rip City, especially Damian Lillard. I think that's another classic banger, and I would not be opposed to buying one of those jerseys as well.
Mm-hmm. And my final top 3, it would have to be the Miami Heat jersey. And I just love how, like, movie like it looks.
It's like really Miami Vice.
Yeah, Miami Vice. It has those tropical colors and everything. It just looks fun, you know.
Yep.
It fits their lifestyle, their culture. They just love to party down there.
Yep. Super loose. I like the white fitted because if you're on my Miami Beach, you're wearing a white shirt.
There's no way you're wearing something dark and
nice and light blue wording as well. It's very nice. I like that as well. Honorable mention, didn't make my top 3. I like the Clippers jersey. That one looks pretty nice as well. I had one more honorable mention as well. It was, can't find it. Well, Philly was my other honorary mention because they weren't the best one. I also like the New York Knicks paying homage to the fire department there, especially because everything that the New York Fire Department did. I think that very well speaks for the New York City mantra. Right. Hardworking, first one's in, last one's out. We're going to be here all day. I like it. Not one of the best 3 because it is quite simple, but
it's really different.
It is very different, and I think it's an honorable mention for sure. Yeah. Oh, and another honorable mention I just saw here again: the Orlando Magic. I think it's great. It's super simple. I like the Starry Night in the background of it. It's very nice. It blends right into the shorts. I think that's another honorable mention as well.
Pretty cool.
Definitely. So now we've talked about the good ones. Now let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about here, or the bad ones, and where the hell are you designing these from? I would like to start it off with the Utah Jazz jersey. I know a lot of people were questioning the color pattern behind it. I don't know if someone can explain to me the orange or the light orange to the red color change of the pattern for what that means to the Utah, the state of Utah. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You look like the Phoenix Suns to me.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. I don't understand it. I would like to talk to the creative director behind that jersey and just find out where it's coming from.
Right.
I don't know how you feel about that one there, Dan. But
I think exactly. Like, if I didn't see the name of Utah on that jersey, I would have thought it was the Phoenix Suns.
That's what I thought as well. So I have no idea because Utah's cold. It's not really a sunny tropical place like Phoenix or Miami or Texas even. Like, I don't know where it's coming from. I thought they should be more snow mountainy-ish. I don't know. I don't get it, but
yeah, that's a weird one.
Cool.
For me, something that I didn't like. There's a lot of simple ones that I didn't like Memphis.
Yep.
The Timberwolves. It was literally just like standard jerseys with the logos on it.
Honestly, Memphis's jersey reminds me of an NCAA jersey. It is a college jersey. Don't think it should have a name on the back just to pay homage to the college players. Don't know what they were looking for as well from Memphis, but that was very bland. Like, there were bland jerseys such as the Philadelphia jersey, but they made it classic.
Right.
They just made this standard and just bland. Like,
It looked like their practice jersey or
Yeah,
something.
it's like something that you would wear in a house league pickup a pickup game,
Right.
or playing at the Y. I don't get it. I'd like to talk to that guy as well, and figure that out. But another bad one that's coming off for me here as well is the Dallas Mavericks jerseys. Color pattern is okay, kind of odd, super simple as well. Don't really get the stripes on the side of them.
It looks like if you took off the Dallas and the number there, it just looks like a regular Nike dry fit jersey.
Dry fit t-shirt that you buy at Sport Check for like $30-$40. I don't know why. And if you go and try and buy that jersey, it's going to be $250 for no reason, and it's nothing fancy. I don't understand it. Hey, maybe they were going for the simple look, which would be nice. I don't think they executed it well at all.
Yeah.
But hey.
Another jersey I don't like is the San Antonio Spurs one.
Thank you. I don't know if I don't like the jersey, but they have that jersey already. Maybe not the same black color, maybe a little bit more green tinge to it, but for every one of their military nights, they wear that jersey. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a little bit different with a different wording, but I've seen it before.
Is San Antonio a military city?
I would think so. I can't say yes for sure because I don't.
They're too small market for us to know.
But they do have a military jersey that they wear every season.
Sure.
But I've seen it before. Why is this exclusive? How is this new? This isn't new to me. Right. It's a different color pattern, but I think they just missed the mark on it. They could have went a lot of different ways. They could have paid a lot more homage to the Texas.
Right.
The Texas state itself.
Yeah, I mean they're called the Spurs. Like, use something cowboyish.
Yes,
right?
Yes. Like, and their symbol is a spur. It's literally a spur. Like
the thing at the end of your boot.
Yes. I don't understand where the camo is coming from. I like the camo. Don't get me wrong. Military is very important. I don't see how that relates to the city of San Antonio unless there is a humongous military base in San Antonio that I just don't know about. Right. I know that the Alamo was around that area, but that's not really military. I don't know. Maybe our fans might know why they went military for the Spurs jersey. Definitely leave a comment below. I would do my own research for it.
Educate us.
I just don't understand it. Another one that just sort of missed the mark for me was the Suns jersey. How it's all purple. I know that they do dabble a little bit in the purple, and the Los Suns, the Spanish throwback as well. They have a Los Suns jersey as well all the time. They do a Spanish game every year as well. So it's not new to me as well. The all purple is kind of new, which doesn't really go to your color scheme as a Phoenix Suns. They should have had the orange that Utah have, and Utah's color is somewhat purple as well. So they should have just switched colors. Don't understand it as well. It's not an ugly jersey. Don't get me wrong. It's not ugly. It's just I don't understand what it's representing as the city of Phoenix. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they can educate me as well. Right. If some people in Arizona are listening to us, give us some feedback. Don't understand it. So last jersey I want to talk about, we can't really talk about, we can't have a basketball podcast with new jerseys without talking about the old champions, the Golden State Warriors. I like the idea. I like the dragon inside the circle for the city because they have a humongous Asian fan base in Golden State in California there. Yep. I like the homage to that with the Golden Gate Bridge being a little bit different with the dragon on it. Color pattern inside of the circle should have been and could have been a little bit different. Not an ugly jersey, not the worst jersey, definitely not the best of the new ones that came out.
But what I do like about it is that they stuck with the Bay rather than the town, because I don't know what the hell the town.
I don't get that either. But I like the Bay because they are from the Bay. They are the only Bay team. Yes, there's a lot in California. None of them are in San Francisco, like Golden State, which is the Golden Bay.
But yeah, and then just kind of that segueing into Cleveland, I really don't like the land.
The land?
Like they've kind of forced that onto Cleveland ever since LeBron has come back. Yeah. They didn't have that before, and I guess the land because he's the king and stuff like that. I don't like it.
No, neither do I. I think they're trying to
really gimmicky.
It is very gimmicky. I think they're playing off of when LeBron came back and they made it to Believe Land.
Yeah.
You can believe in Cleveland again.
Right.
But spot on. It is very gimmicky. But realistically, looking at these city jerseys, isn't it all just one big gimmick to try and make money, try and push jersey sales? Like, you can't just keep selling the same 3 jerseys every single season. You need to have a new jersey, which I think they spot on got.
Well, they only have 3 jerseys per city right now anyways.
So they need a new gimmick jersey that will force people to go and buy it again. And I think the Land is quite gimmicky and it's spot on.
Another up-running team that we have right now, top team, Houston Rockets. Mm-hmm. Their jersey looks like the old Yao Ming style jerseys.
It does.
Right? Like back when he played, they just added in. I swear to God, they played in this jersey as well too.
The other day.
Yeah, I swear to God, Houston had a jersey with those same Chinese words on it.
You could very well be right. I don't understand as well. Maybe I'm missing something as well because I'm not from the States.
Yeah.
Does Houston have a big Asian population?
I'm not too sure myself, to be honest.
I have no idea because
I think it's just the fact that Yao Ming played in that city, and then that brought over the NBA fan base to Houston.
Very well could be. It very well could be. To my knowledge, Houston never played a game in China like some teams have done before. I don't understand why there's such a big fan base for the Chinese population going to Houston. It could very well be Yao Ming.
Yeah.
Don't understand it. It's not an ugly jersey. I think it's very similar to what they're already wearing, just Chinese writing on top of it. Don't know how that signifies Houston. Like to know. But well executed, I think.
Yeah. It's a bit confusing.
Very, very. But we can move on from our jersey debate there. But definitely, if you guys have any comments or any suggestions or feedback you'd like to put in, definitely subscribe and leave us a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about your top 3 jerseys or whatnot.
Or even how you feel your jersey represented your city, if it was well represented.
Exactly. That as well. We would like to get as many different team markets that our teams are in to have people come and just put their own 2 cents in. But we can move on from the jerseys. I know that the trade deadline is coming up a little bit earlier this season than years past. It is set for February 8th of this year. So it's coming up. It's in just under a month from taping this podcast.
It's tight.
So it wouldn't be a good podcast without talking about the trade rumors that have been swirling around the whole league. I don't know if you want to start off with that there, Dan. I don't know what you've been hearing in the grapevine, but what do you think is going to happen at this trade deadline?
So one of the few things that we've been talking about, of course, is DeMarcus Cousins. Where is he going to go? Is he going to get traded? Right? So that's always been something that has been discussed about even from the beginning of the season. But the other guy on his team, Anthony Davis, there's rumors right now that apparently teams are trying to persuade New Orleans to make an Anthony Davis trade. And Anthony Davis doesn't feel very happy that he doesn't seem like, well, New Orleans isn't coming out and saying like, hey, no, we're not looking to trade you or anything like that, right? Mm-hmm. So as a player, as a star player, possibly a franchise player, he doesn't feel like the city has his back.
Well, I don't know if he doesn't feel like the city has his back. I don't think he feels that front office or management has his back. I have seen posts or in articles before that they are not openly shopping Anthony Davis. Of course, you're not being a good GM if you're not listening to what other teams are offering him, what other teams are offering for him. I can't see Anthony Davis going anywhere. He is a franchise player. He is on contract for the next 3 to 4 years. There's no reason to trade him. Unless there's something behind the scenes that him and DeMarcus Cousins aren't clicking. On the court, they seem to be clicking whenever they're healthy together. They play good basketball together. Do I see Anthony Davis moving? Probably not. Do I see one of those 2 guys moving? Yes. By the trade deadline in February? I don't think so. This is, especially moving talent like that, that's not a mid-season kind of move you can make. No. That is an off-season,
that's a major
lot of thought into it, weighing tons of options. Because when you do a trade like that in the middle of the season, you can't trade big players like that because you don't have time to
readjust,
run your team and change on the fly and still make a competitive team.
Right.
Unless you do this mid-season, you are saying to the league, I am okay with tanking. We are rebuilding. Let's start from scratch.
Yeah.
So if I don't see New Orleans making a move like that at this trade deadline, do they need to make a move? Yes. New Orleans is one of those fence teams. They're not on the upper echelons of the Western Conference, but they're not the bottom feeders like the Kings are as of right now. Do they need to make a move? Yes. Is it that kind of move, one of those two kind of players at the trade deadline? I don't see it happening. Another person that's been on the trade block for what seems like an eternity here, Marc Gasol.
Yep.
Or DeAndre Jordan.
Right.
But let's go into Marc Gasol here. There have been tons and tons of rumors of him coming to Toronto. I would be over the moon excited if Marc Gasol can come to Toronto. Depending on what we lose, I understand JV would have to be one of the pieces to move. I love myself some Jonas Valanciunas. If it brings in Marc Gasol, I am A-okay with seeing him leave. Marc Gasol, can you see him coming to Toronto? Well, before we even get to that, can you see him leaving the Memphis Grizzlies organization?
Well, the one thing that we had earlier this year was the firing of Coach Dave Fizdale.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the reason why they fired him is because they had issues with the coach and their star player, Marc Gasol. They couldn't see eye to eye. And when there's constant pushback like that, when the coach is asking you to do something and the star player doesn't want to do it that way, you're gonna have
controversy.
Yeah, controversy, and ended up with him getting fired. So now that you've already got rid of the coach, are you still gonna be looking at getting rid of your star player?
That is the signs of a total rebuild to me. Losing your coach and your star player, that's just a rebuild.
I don't see it happening now that that's happened.
Neither do I. Also with Marc Gasol, he's never played anywhere else other than Memphis, other than the Grizzlies there.
Yeah.
So I can't see him leaving. He is invested into the city as DeMar is invested into Toronto. So it would take a very lucrative deal to get him to move. I've also seen reportings that this trade, if there is a trade for Marc Gasol, the ball is in Gasol's court. He can go to management and say, I would like a trade, and they would try and accommodate him the best that they can.
Right.
I don't see him running to the GM's office to request a trade as of right now.
He doesn't seem like a quitter.
No, I don't see it either. I think he is just as well as invested in winning, especially winning in Memphis. He knows that he is their city's basketball superstar since his brother Paul left.
Right.
I think he understands that a Gasol has to be in Memphis to get them over the hump.
And I like the way they're playing right now with Tyreek Evans, and Mike Conley's still injured.
And they're still putting up W's, oddly enough. Well, not to the rate that they would like to be putting up W's, I'm sure. But
they've always been kind of sneaky, like get into the playoffs type of team. So
get into the playoffs and push a game to 6 or 7 games in the series.
Yeah.
Surprised, but I know we've alluded to it a little bit here with prior conversations earlier in this podcast. DeAndre Jordan and the Clippers situation.
Yeah.
Do you see DeAndre Jordan ending the season as a Clipper?
Man, that is so hard to say because you hear all these offers for DeAndre Jordan, but then at the same time, it's like, what are these teams gonna give up for DeAndre, right? And then one of the teams that is constantly in the discussion for it is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mm-hmm. If they're gonna get DeAndre Jordan, they're obviously gonna have to give up Tristan Thompson, possibly Iman Shumpert, possibly even the Brooklyn pick, right? So that's a lot to give up for a guy that's gonna play. He's gonna play excellent pick and roll basketball with his team for sure. But are you gonna play him in the fourth quarter and let him get fouled?
I wouldn't.
Right?
But and I totally understand that. But then that goes into the question. I've heard that same deal before for Shumpert, Thompson, and a first-round draft pick. I think that's a little bit too much for DeAndre Jordan. Yes, his defense is unreal.
Right.
Yes, he will get you your 9 to 12 boards a game.
And the blocks.
And the blocks and the steals and just the physical presence down low, which looks like what Cleveland's missing. But for a guy that cannot shoot from more than 5 feet from the rim, he's an offensive liability.
Right.
Which is fine because LeBron James can cover up offensive liabilities. Isaiah Thomas can cover up offensive liabilities like he did in Boston when he had Marcus Smart, who's not the most pure offensive scorer. Avery Bradley for the couple years that it's not the most pure offensive scorer. So yes, there are people that cover up the offensive liability that DeAndre Jordan presents to any team that he's on. I think it's a little bit too much, especially for the Brooklyn first-round draft pick, because that is almost a guaranteed top 10 pick of the draft this year.
Right.
So it's really giving up a top 10 draft pick, a Tristan Thompson, he's not a superstar. He's a good role player off the bench.
Yeah, he's actually doing a lot better off the bench than I expected.
Exactly. And Iman Shumpert, who is a defensive-minded 3-and-D, who is a very gritty player. I think that's giving up a lot for DeAndre Jordan, unless the Clippers have draft picks that they can throw into the trade as well, or another role player that's a little bit, or a prospect of a player. That would have to be thrown into me if I was the GM of the Cavaliers. But I can't see DeAndre Jordan ending the season as a Clipper. I just can't see it. Going to Cleveland, maybe not, but...
There's some talks about him coming to the Raptors as well.
There's been talks about every big man that's on the trade block coming to the Raptors. Like, I've heard Anthony Davis coming to the Raptors.
It's the same thing. Like Cleveland and the Raptors are in the same situation with big men.
We are. We need a big man to play defense for us because, well, Ibaka's not as big of a man that we would need to guard the centers of the league. He's a good high post defender, but we need a big man defender to cover up Portal, because Portal's a big man, but he's not a solid guy, and he's young.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, he's young, so he's coming into his own. JV did not take the step in the defensive direction that we wanted him to do. Not sure if many people saw that the Raptors played the Bucks yesterday there, where JV had a monstrous third quarter. That's great offensively, but if you can't stop the other center from doing the same thing you're doing, you're not helping the team.
Right.
You're not hurting the team, but you're not helping the team. So I think it would be key to get a big defensive presence, such as DeAndre Jordan, Marc Gasol, something of that nature. Do I see it happening? Not at this juncture of the team, especially with our cap space. We don't have too much money to pay out to these people. I don't know. Anything is possible. I know that there was one trade that you were somewhat interested in trying to get the ball rolling here, coming to Toronto. What's about that trade that you're looking at?
Yeah, so this also goes back to our New Year game in Toronto with
New Year's Day.
So at the end of the game, apparently, like, I think 1,000 fans or something stayed behind.
1,200?
Something like that, yeah. And they stayed behind, all the Greek fans, for the Greek Freak.
It was, oddly enough, on New Year's Day, it was the national Greek game for the Raptors. We had a Greek night.
Right.
There was one individual in the Toronto community, who is Greek, of course, who purchased, I think, 1,000 to 1,200 tickets to supply to the Greek community in Toronto to come watch the Greek Freak, Giannis, play basketball. Yeah. At the end of the game, they stayed an hour and a half to 2 hours after the end of the game, waiting for Giannis to come out of the locker room to sing the national anthem to him. If you haven't seen this video, go on YouTube, look it up. Giannis, Raptor fans singing the anthem. It is a sight to see.
It is pretty crazy.
Is that enticing enough for him in the years to come to make a move to Toronto, make a run with a competing team in the Eastern Conference to try and bring them over the top to the Eastern Conference Championship to kick the king off his throne? I don't know. How do you feel about Giannis? Potentially, there's no merit behind these rumors or anything.
Right.
But how would you feel if Giannis did up and come to the Raptors?
Honestly, I would love it, to be honest. Like, he's basically a 7-foot Westbrook. Like, the intensity that he plays at, it's ridiculous. Like, I think he pushes the ball well too. So especially on a Kyle Lowry decline, which I'm always gonna unfortunately bring up, he would kind of be a good replacement to replace Kyle Lowry offensively, and maybe not so much in the passing, but he's still a good passer.
Yeah.
He still makes plays.
He's
So
almost averaging a triple double. Not averaging a triple double, but he's almost a triple double kind of guy. Every night, you wouldn't be
Right.
surprised if he throws a triple double down for you.
exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised as well if he would be a change from Kyle Lowry if he did come. I don't even want to fathom the amount of things we would have to lose in order to bring in Giannis. It would be astronomical. We would have to lose pretty much our whole starting lineup.
Right.
Just
I don't think
contract.
there's no way that the Bucks are going to be willing to trade him.
No.
He's untouchable. If he comes, it's his choice.
Of course, that would have to be a
So-
free agency
Right.
kind of deal.
And the thing is, that's where I like how we stayed behind to sing the national anthem to him, because everybody knows that when you come to Toronto, we love the hell out of you.
Yep, it is very true. If you want not only a city but a country to be behind you,
Yeah.
come and make a big free agency signing in Toronto. You will be the poster boy of the country
Right.
for that season, for sure.
And for him to not even be on the team and receive this kind of love, that's huge.
Mhm.
The other thing too is that apparently Toronto loves European players.
Yep.
The thing that was the issue is that a lot of the European players we're getting were white. This guy, this guy's European and he's black.
So it's like a double benefit.
Exactly.
And
What could go wrong?
And it is the fact, I think the reason why Toronto fans like European players the most, the diversity that our city has.
Yes.
No matter what country you come from, there will be a pretty big following of your national people
Right.
in Toronto.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's Latvian. Jonas Valanciunas had a Lithuanian night a couple weeks ago, and there were hundreds of Lithuanian fans
Yeah.
in the ACC.
We have the Italians from the
thousands.
Bargnani.
Italians.
man.
We have a couple of Latvians
Spanish.
for Porto. We had Spanish for Jose
Jose.
Calderon and Garbajosa.
Yeah.
We have a huge Portuguese fan base, Portuguese population in Toronto. You name the country, we have a population for it. We have
Right.
African population as well in Toronto that Masai's bringing over with his basketball without borders in Africa.
Like, if we could get Jeremy Lin, we would get Jeremy Lin too.
And we
Like,
have a huge Asian culture base in Toronto as
Jeremy
well.
Lin had the same kind of reception that
That
Giannis got.
exactly, like no matter what nationality you are, if you come to Toronto, you will be loved, and there will be national following behind you.
Yeah.
Like I was still blown away by the amount of Lithuanians that were in Toronto. I had no idea, or not even in just Toronto, in the whole nation. There were countries being represented
Mhm.
from every nationality in Canada. We are a humongous mosaic. If you come with your culture, we will embrace it, and we will try and integrate our own cultures into it to make a third culture, which is just going to be even bigger and better than what yours was by itself and what Canada's is by itself. Bringing it in, matching it together, it is only going to be beneficial.
Like, the thing about Toronto is that not to hate on these American cities a little bit, but we're the only true melting pot city. Like, we don't assimilate you into the American way of life or anything like that. It's literally you come do your own thing, and if you don't bother other people, you're good to
We
go.
won't bother you. We will totally.
There's so much culture.
We will take your culture and we will try and modify it to make it suit all of our needs. What we like, what you like, and try and get a common ground behind it. We're in America. If you become an American citizen, you pretty much have to denounce your old nationality, your old religions. They try to make you American. Where Canada, you will be Canadian and wherever you come from. You are a Lithuanian Canadian. You
Right.
are Jamaican Canadian. You
Right.
are whatever you else plus Canada. Where America, if you come from another country and you go to America, you are an American. You are nothing
Yeah.
else, pretty much.
You're pretty much leaving everything behind
But-
at that point.
And that is what some people like. I can understand being an American coming to Canada. It's a transition. It's kind of hard because you've been brought up and raised America, patriotism, being very patriotic to your own country,
To
and
your own country.
in your own what your country needs. I think Canada is a great place. I think more people should be more open and responsive to coming and playing in Canada. Our fan base loves you. We will be loyal unless you turn your back on us.
Man, how would you love to see maybe even another team open up in Vancouver again?
I am 100% for that. Doesn't even have to be in Vancouver. I think Canada needs another NBA team. I understand market sizes are
Right.
not the most advantageous for owners to bring an organization to Canada if you're not in Toronto, but it needs to be done. Basketball, especially basketball, was a Canadian product, a Canadian invented basketball. To only have one team in the nation that created the game or birthed the person that created the game, I get it. He was in America when he made it. However, it was a Canadian guy that made it. To only have one country representing it, I think James Naismith would be very upset about that.
And to add to that too, I listened to the Road Tripping podcast with Channing and Richard. Mm-hmm. A really good podcast, to be honest. You guys should check it out as well too. But Richard Jefferson, he played during a time that there was the Vancouver Grizzlies. And he actually said that Vancouver was actually one of his favorite cities to visit. So that gives more reason for you to go there. Like, come on, give us another team.
It's true. Vancouver is a beautiful city. It is huge. There's a lot of people. It is a surprisingly big market in Vancouver.
Yep.
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Because there would be a lot of people coming from all over the nation to come and watch basketball on the West Coast, because they haven't had basketball on the West Coast for almost a decade now, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time that the Grizzlies were in Vancouver? I can't remember. It had to be at least 15 to 20 years ago now.
Something like that. It's been a while.
I don't know. Something to think about. If we get enough money here, Dan, we can go and buy an organization and we can move it to Vancouver.
The dreams. So, moving on from the trades that could be coming up, I want to backtrack to a trade that happened before the season. And that would be the big Kyrie Irving trade. As an article came out recently on ESPN, kind of talking about what went down. Like, Kyrie Irving finally speaks out on it a little bit.
More of the backstory that most general public did not have privy to at the time of the trade until this article came out about 6 months after the trade even happened, because that happened in June or July was when the trade actually broke for us. One thing I found out reading that article, we would have to find the name of the article. I don't remember who wrote it.
You can check it on ESPN.
It was on ESPN. A lot of things that I didn't know in the back of it was that a move like this wasn't the first time Kyrie had a move like that. In high school, in his sophomore or junior year, he made a significant trade. Not a trade. I always say trade. It's not a trade.
Decision.
A decision. He moved programs in the middle of his high school career for a bigger challenge. That to me just puts me in the mindset of Kyrie Irving, just always trying to better himself, not settling, knowing he's on a winning team and just coasting along. He always wants to make sure he's getting better, making people around him getting better, and being the main man on whatever organization, program, team that he's on. He wants to make sure he's getting better as well.
Right.
I've heard speculations around that it's tough to improve yourself playing behind LeBron James and in a super team like that. Because if you're already playing on the best team, it's tough to make yourself even better when your competition is significantly lesser to your team.
On the other hand, though, him having played with LeBron James, I think he's learned a lot in terms of being a leader as well. Because without LeBron, he played with Deion Waiters. They were clashing heads. Things just weren't going well. And he still played in a similar style. But now that he's gone to Boston, you can see a different composure that he has. Like, he's...
different mindset.
Yeah. He's turned it on right now. You know?
And I think it was beneficial for him to go into a new atmosphere, a new situation, and trying to thrive in that. It keeps you on your toes. When you're a competitor, don't get me wrong, every player in this league is a competitor. They have competitive natures. It's If you don't, you won't make the league. And if by the grace of God you do, you won't stay in the league if you're not a competitor or a competitive nature. Kyrie is the epitome of a competitor. He will go into a worse situation to compete, get better, and improve himself and the team that he is playing for. I don't fault him for that decision. Maybe could have been a little bit of a better way to execute that you wanted to leave than making it so public and leaving us in the backlight and having all of this in the background of not knowing why you wanted to leave.
But it wasn't him that made it public, though.
True.
Right? That was the big thing. It's like, why wasn't my privacy respected?
Fair.
So at this point, we still don't know who
initiated.
Who leaked it, right?
Yeah. But being in a public forum like you are in the NBA, you have to understand this is going to happen.
Right.
It's impossible to keep a secret in something that is super publicly known, which is the NBA.
I think one huge thing in the article that I wanted to bring up was the fact that before this trade, they discussed potentially trading him and getting a deal for Paul George and Eric Bledsoe. And even from last year when I was talking to you, I really wanted Bledsoe on the Cavaliers. Like, I thought it was going to happen. That could have been it.
I don't think it could have happened. It could have happened because Bledsoe and Isaiah Thomas play a somewhat similar game. So I could see it happening because, like, Isaiah Thomas is there. If you just replaced him for Eric Bledsoe, it could have worked.
He's a playmaker, and he wouldn't mind playing behind LeBron.
It's true. That trade rumors, that was the June before this trade actually happened. That was after they won their championship. They were hinting at potentially trying to move Kyrie. I think that was just bad management by Dan Gilbert and the Cavaliers organization. Wouldn't be the first time. But I can understand that would leave a bad taste in my mouth if my team was trying to say, like, hey, what would you want for Kyrie? Like, how would you? I wouldn't like it either, but still, it's part of the business.
You could hear about it throughout the entire season too. There's a lot of talk about the season going forward, and Kyrie was very disengaged with the team. Even him celebrating the championship, he did it alone on a yacht with a bunch of white girls. Beautiful white girls. And, like, where's the other team members, right? Like, nowhere to be found. It's just him.
It's true.
Right? So you could kind of see it affect him that way. But, I mean, like, where he is right now, he seems like he's having a good time and enjoying it. But
I don't fault Kyrie at all for this. The only thing that is weird to me is why Isaiah Thomas? Well, coming from the Cleveland Cavaliers perspective, I understand why Isaiah Thomas, but from the Boston's point of view, why Isaiah Thomas? The man that comes out the next night after his sister dies in a car crash and puts up an unreal playoff performance. You trade him?
I never got it either.
I understand why the Cavaliers asked for it. Doesn't mean you have to do it. Like, yes, Kyrie Irving. If you get Kyrie Irving, that's a once-in-a-lifetime trade. I understand that. Isaiah Thomas is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of player. I don't see why Boston pulled the trigger on it. I would love to have Kyrie Irving come to my team. Losing a guy like Isaiah Thomas who just put his heart on the floor for Boston Celtics. And you just kick it to the side and say, nah, it's okay, we'll take Kyrie. I understand Isaiah Thomas was a little bit banged up, a little bit hurt with his hip injury.
Still.
That is just unloyal acts from the Boston Celtics. That just shocked me. I don't know. I would like to see it. I would like to see what happened. I would like to know why Isaiah Thomas. Out of all the people you could have traded. I don't know.
But realistically, like, I don't think there's a lot that they could have gotten out of it either.
Of course.
Right?
Of course. If it wasn't
had to be done.
If it wasn't Isaiah Thomas, it would have been like Gordon Hayward, who you just got like a week before. That's not I get that. Like, or you would have had to lose like Al Horford and like 3 other players and like 3 draft picks. I get that. Doesn't mean you have to do the deal. Like, hey, Cleveland, I understand you're trying to get rid of Kyrie. Yes, I want Kyrie. I can't lose Isaiah.
The article also made it very interesting in some of the things that we heard about in the past that was kind of out there, but we didn't really think about too much on it. And that was the one thing where Jimmy Butler wanted to join the Cavaliers, and it was Kyrie Irving that said, "Don't come." Right, so that was like, whoa. Now it's just like, holy shit, like there was really shit going on.
that was a shot at the Cavaliers organization.
Yeah.
That was, I don't want to say sabotage,
Yeah,
but it was sabotage.
It was sabotage because Jimmy's like, yo, I'm down, let's go,
let's do it, we can make a run. But
yeah, and then you hear in the teams that Kyrie wants to go to, and it lists Minnesota as being one of them. He wants to play with Jimmy Butler. Right, so, man, and then with Gordon Hayward was apparently also supposed to come to the Cavaliers the same summer that LeBron ended up going to the Cavaliers, and that's why it didn't happen.
Hey,
so now it's like, oh, hey, look, like now we're reunited where we're supposed to be on a different team.
Hey, it's a domino effect. One thing leads to another thing, and everything happens for a reason, I feel. So I think Kyrie had to move to Boston. I think it was, in all honesty, I think it's going to better his career. I think it will. Maybe he's not going to have well, by the way that he's playing, he's going to have all the same playoff appearances. Maybe not all the playoff success that he would have had playing with LeBron. But now it's individualized. So now he's
going to have his own legacy.
It's every playoff win that they get. It's not going to be LeBron and Kyrie. It's going to be Kyrie and company.
Right.
So I understand it's going to make it better for his legacy. If I was Kyrie in his situation, I might have done the same thing. If my competitive nature was the same way as his, I probably would have done the same thing.
What did you think about the one part in the article where he had that conversation with Ty Lue, where Ty Lue asked him to play faster
and make it be more facilitating?
Yeah, and he was like, if you play faster, we can get more shots. And he's like, but I can get my shot off at any time. Why do I need to play faster, right? But it's for RJ and JR. That's LeBron's job. That is kind of like
shots fired, saying, I don't need help getting my shot off. If everyone else needs help getting the shot off, go to the king, go to number 23. He's your playmaker. I am just a stud. I will do it myself, and I will make everybody else better if they can keep up with my game style. I think that's just shots being fired, saying, I'm not changing my game to fit everybody else. Everyone else should change their game to fit mine. Very selfish, very one way. There is a little bit later in the article. He does say that he handled it wrong.
Yeah.
He says that he wished he could have handled it differently, which I don't. Everyone's hindsight is always 20/20. I like that he understood he handled it wrong, and he has grown from it. But then again, when everyone's eggs are in LeBron's basket, why do I have to change when your man's LeBron? It's clear that
and all the offense is running through him and everything like that.
Exactly. Right? It's clear that LeBron is the man of Cleveland. If you don't see it, you are blind. Something's wrong.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that when around the time that happened, if you look back on it, that's actually around the same time where we used to hear the LeBron statements of we need a playmaker.
Yeah, right? And then we need another point guard.
Yeah, and that's a lot. Also, shots fired at Kyrie. It's like, hey man, like stop playing iso ball and make plays. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's another reason why if I was in Kyrie's situation, I would have left. There's no good that could have came from staying in that situation other than championships, which are very good.
Right.
But the aspect in the article as well, there were a lot of times when LeBron would refer to Kyrie as kid or my little brother.
Yeah.
That to me
sunning him
yes, it's sunning. It's not giving Kyrie the respect that he deserves for being an NBA player.
Yeah.
Yes, LeBron, you've been in the league a couple more years than him. Yes, LeBron, you're way better than him. Like you're way better than everybody. I get that. He still deserves the respect for being in that position. Without you, LeBron, he was still a top 5, top 10 point guards in the whole league.
Yes.
So why do you call me your son? Why do you call me your little kid brother? Nah, I'm a man. Right. I've done this myself. I brought myself to this position where I am now without your help. Yes, the last 2 years you helped us get to the finals, but I was carrying the Cavaliers before you came. When you left,
I don't know about carrying. Like,
okay, they weren't going far, but everywhere that they've went, it was because of Kyrie.
Sure.
Yes, they were in the bottom, but he was still the man of the team.
Yeah.
When you left, when you broke Cleveland, he was the one trying to fix it. And then when you came back, yes, you were the finalizing piece to put them in the championships, but Kyrie was keeping them afloat while you were gone in Miami on vacation, just winning by yourself.
Right.
So he deserves some kind of respect. I don't like the downward talking that LeBron was giving to Kyrie.
Which he still does.
But if I was in Kyrie's position, I would feel the same way. If I was in LeBron's position, I would have. Then again, I'm not in that situation. I would feel like I would give him more respect because I would understand being in the NBA, you deserve some kind of respect because you got there yourself.
So with that all being said, when you look back at Kyrie Irving's statements last year about the Earth being flat, do you think he really believes the Earth being flat at this point, or do you think it's all subliminal to the point where he's kind of saying, look, the only reason people are going to talk about me is if I say some absurd shit like this?
Yes. And I think another reason, I don't know if he's a flat earther, if he believes in that. So, whatever. Like, you believe in what you believe in. That's what your right as a human being is to do. I think more or less it was just a soundbite to get people away from talking of what's your relationship with LeBron James? How are you feeling with Ty Lue? How is your relationship with the Cavaliers organization? Oh, I think the Earth's flat. What? You think the Earth's flat? Let's talk about this.
Well, the context of it came off of the Road Tripping podcast with Channing and RJ. And what it was is that the message that he was trying to say about the Earth is flat was that there's a lot of things that are being told to us, and we don't question it, we don't ask questions, we just believe it.
Yep.
And that kind of plays into this whole thing as well too. Is like the media tells you one thing, but what's the true story behind the scenes?
Exactly.
Right? So I feel like, because Kyrie Irving's a smart guy.
Yes.
I feel like maybe he doesn't believe that the Earth is flat, but that was a subliminal way of saying like, hey, look, you
can't believe everything that you see or everything that you hear or read. Do your own kind of research and figure it out. I understand that if that's the way that he was trying to portray it, that's very well done. It's very high thought, like high thinking, high intelligence. Not many of the general public would have picked up on that.
Yeah.
If that's the way that he was doing it, good on him. I think it's a good way to reach out to your fan base. Yeah.
So one final trade thing I want to talk about. So this is gonna be Carmelo Anthony related. There was talks about him before going to Oklahoma City that he was trying to recruit LeBron James to Houston to play with Chris Paul
and James Harden. I would assume one of them would have to go. James or Chris would have had to go to make room for the other two people.
Possibly, but I don't know. Maybe they're willing to bite the bullet.
LeBron would not have bit the money bullet that he would have had to bite if he wanted to.
What if they were to take the luxury tax?
That would have been one humongous luxury tax because I don't see Carmelo Anthony taking a significant pay cut.
Right.
I know LeBron's not taking it. No, that's not even a question. That wouldn't have worked.
But why would the destination be Houston if they're not going to play along
with James Harden? Is
other
the
than
city's
tax
nice.
breaks.
I was going to say the city has nice tax purposes. Houston's a very nice city. It's a very lovely city. I don't know. Because I knew, Melo knows that he couldn't have came to Cleveland, and LeBron wouldn't have came. LeBron wouldn't have came to New York. Like it just wouldn't have worked. So they needed a mutually respective team, but they weren't going to go to like a Memphis team that's in the bottom. You know what I mean? They would have had to go into a competing team. LeBron wouldn't have gone to Oklahoma City, where Melo ended up being there. So they had to get another competitive team that would have been either Cleveland, where LeBron was, Boston, where LeBron would never have gone there, Oklahoma City, LeBron would never have gone there, Golden State Warriors, come on, now, or Houston. That's like the only five legit, or Toronto, because Toronto was in the top 6 or 7. Yeah, but like that just would not have worked. So those are the only really 6 competing teams, season in, season out, that you could have really went to without starting brand new with the Kings or the Grizzlies or some team like that. So I think that's why Houston. Am I glad it didn't work? Hell yeah, because now the Raptors have a shot still, but I don't know. I don't see it happening. I didn't see it happening at that time either.
And even after this summer, probably not gonna happen.
No, still no. I don't see it happening.
CP's already there.
Yeah, CP's there. He's in the coast, and Houston's playing hell of a good basketball.
Can you see Melo joining that team? Just Melo, not LeBron.
Yeah, I could. Maybe not this age Melo, because he's a different game.
Right.
He's more of a spot up shooter. He backs you down in the post. Houston is up and down the court. Mike D'Antoni, you have to score 125 points a game. You have to run. Melo doesn't run.
You're gonna have him as a better option than Ryan Anderson.
True, fair. Ryan Anderson would run though. I think Ryan Anderson would buy into the let's get up and down the court. Melo wouldn't get up and down the court. Melo would get on behind the lack of defense that they run. He would have been all about that. I can't see him running up a score of 115 points a game. That takes effort. Melo doesn't really have effort. He has skill. He can put the ball in the rim with ease.
Did you see that post-game interview by Melo, by the way?
Which one?
Where he got water poured on him?
And he started swearing at me, yeah. So I like Melo. He's very funny. He's great.
Hilarious.
But I don't see him running a Mike D'Antoni fast break offense. Yeah. I don't know. Prove me wrong. I'd like to see it.
It would be interesting.
It would have been. I think another reason why they wouldn't have been able to do it. Yes, there have been recent success of super teams. I think that kind of super team might have fell into the way of the old Lakers when they had Shaq, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, and Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Just not enough ball to go around. I just don't think there would have been enough ball to go around.
So let's go into our final topic of the day. You want to?
Yeah, we can bring it up. I know that we wanted to speak about the All-Star game that was coming up here. They just did the most up-to-date voting about that there as well. Surprise, Giannis Antetokounmpo is number 1 in All-Star votes so far.
I was actually quite surprised about that. You proved me wrong there.
I was quite surprised as well. I called it.
You told me that he had a big fan base. I didn't think it was that big.
He had a humongous fan base. I knew he had a big, humongous fan base to outseat the King. Sort of surprising, though, because I knew the King has a humongous fan base as well. I knew they would rival, but he's up by a few thousand votes.
Right.
Surprising, not surprising. I like it. He's already said if he was to get team captain of the East, he's looking at LeBron as his number 1 pick.
So for the All-Star game, how we have the team captains and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
If Giannis is the team captain, I'm just reading a headline right here that I just opened up. Giannis has a clever plan that involves picking LeBron first for his All-Star team. So we know who he's going first if he can.
If he gets it, he would. And I think the clever idea is that I don't have to guard this man. That's a great idea. Let me pick him on my team so I can play with him, oppose against him.
Yeah.
Great idea.
The question is, if he gets if he gets second pick, will KD or Steph pick LeBron?
Questions. I can't see why not. I just can't see why not.
Or will they pick each other?
I can't see them picking each other either, because they play with each other every single day. You know what I mean? The All-Star game, especially this format that they're doing, is to try and switch up people that they don't play together normally. I don't know.
But it's also the bro card, It's like, yo, we played together. Why didn't you pick me over our enemy?
It's true, but it's the fact of unless there's a whole wide player consensus that let's pick LeBron last. Let's not pick him if we don't. Unless they do something like that, LeBron's number 1 pick. Doesn't matter who has the first overall pick. It's LeBron James. If LeBron's not picking, he is being picked. That's my 2 cents on it.
I'm actually excited for the All-Star game, man.
I'm just looking forward to it.
They did it. They worked.
They've done it.
To be excited about the game.
And I am thoroughly excited about it. Another surprising inclusion on that early All-Star voting list. Maybe
There's a few
DeMar
surprises.
is DeMar DeRozan at number 2. Some people are surprised about that. I'm not surprised about that. Toronto and Canada comes out and votes for the people that they need to have in the All-Star game. The biggest surprise for me, Victor Oladipo is number 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, that's high.
As an Eastern guard to be voted into the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Victor Oladipo and Oladipo fans and Pacer fans, he's having an unbelievable season. His season is unreal. 3rd best guard in the Eastern Conference, though.
That's questionable.
Like,
I mean, we have Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade. No, I'm just kidding.
I get it. He's having a season. Top 3 guard play in the Eastern Conference. Staturally, like stats, arguably, maybe. Fine. Maybe.
Where does John Wall rank?
John Wall.
Is he under Oladipo?
He is under Oladipo for sure. Looking it up here now, trying to find out the exact listing of it. But Victor Oladipo being that high is a shock to me. I wish him the best. I love me some Victor Oladipo. He can dunk it on some people.
I think he deserves to be on the All-Star team.
Yes. Granted. A starter, though?
No.
I don't know.
That should be Ben Simmons.
Oh.
You know, when I did the vote, they don't even let you pick Ben Simmons as a forward. He's a guard.
Really?
Yeah. When I selected him, it took up a guard spot.
Didn't know that.
So I picked DeMar DeRozan, Ben Simmons. I picked LeBron James, Joel Embiid. I don't remember who my last one is. I might have trolled and put Drummond or something. Because I wanted to get some other guys out there. I don't want to vote for Giannis. I was like, yo, let LeBron get them.
Why not vote for Giannis? Giannis is the man.
He was making it anyways. I need to get LeBron up there.
To be number 1 overall?
Yeah. Strategic picking.
Surprised that Giannis is so far in the lead. But I think he deserves to be number 1 overall. For number 1 in vote getting for this All-Star game. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Do you know where the All-Star game is this year?
LA.
Is it in LA?
Yeah.
I did not remember that.
Isaiah Thomas got quite a number of picks. Really surprising to me.
Playing
Dwayne Wade.
3 games or 4 games.
I think at the time he only played 1 game.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard got some votes.
Remember when Kobe made the All-Star game and he literally didn't play? he didn't play and he made the All-Star game. Yeah.
And Iverson made the All-Star.
Yeah, wasn't he retired? Like I don't understand it. That's what happens when you have fan voting.
Votes, yeah.
Like, check the words right out of my mouth. When you have fan voting, anything can happen.
It's so funny.
But if it was your starting lineup, you can get 5 from anywhere in the league because that's what's happening here now.
So they don't even care about position, just 5.
No, they're still caring about positions, but they can be from East or West.
Okay.
What would be your ultimate 5 NBA All-Star roster? Starting lineup. You have to remember positions. Keep positions in mind. Out of the early voting, what would your lineup be if you were number 1 pick and you had all the picks in the row?
Okay, so for my guards, I need 2 guards. I need 3 forwards, basically.
Yes.
So I gotta pick James Harden as one of my guards. My other guard. Oh man, I don't want to say Curry, but I might have to. No, I don't want to say Curry, man. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the guards later.
Go back to the guards.
So forwards, I got LeBron James.
Of course. Anyone. You can pick anyone.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick Kevin Durant. And I'm gonna pick. I want to see DeMarcus Cousins play with him.
I was gonna say the same thing. You literally took it out of my mouth.
For my guard? Who did I get for my guard? Kyrie Irving.
Oh, good pick. Good pick. So not bad. Not a bad 5. My 5 would be. I like controversy. I like that the inner struggle that the team would have. I would have to have Kyrie number 1. Number 2 would have to be Russ Westbrook because that would just be unbelievable. With the handles of Irving and the fast break and the dunks of Westbrook would be unbelievable as a backcourt. You gotta have the king, LeBron. I love me some Giannis Antetokounmpo. We'll put him on there.
Yeah.
As a big man, you need a big man that can get up and down the floor. You might not need a big man that scores all the time, like DeMarcus does, or anything of that nature. A big man, I would like to have DeMarcus Cousins. That would be nice.
AD
or Anthony Davis. Why not a Karl Anthony Towns? He would get up and down that floor. Yeah. He would run. He can catch. He can dunk. He can rebound. You don't need him to shoot because you have LeBron, Kyrie, Westbrook. Yeah. Your 3-pointers wouldn't be the best because your only pure shooter is Kyrie. But Karl Anthony Towns can knock down the far jimmies every now and then.
Yeah.
I think that would be an unbelievable starting 5. Kyrie, Westbrook, LeBron, Greek Freak, and the big cat, Karl Anthony Towns.
That's pretty crazy.
I would love to see them get up and down the court. Defense might be a little bit iffy. Only one that actually buys in on defense is LeBron and Greek Freak. But I would like to see those 5 go up and down the court.
Are there any players that you want to see play together with other people?
Not particularly. We've seen most of those controversial plays together last year, such as the Kevin Durant played with Russell Westbrook last year.
What about the ones that are like, man, if they play together, what kind of destruction could
they do?
Yeah,
like the only real big one that's in conversation this year is Kyrie LeBron. If they were to play together again, what would that be like? I think it would be business as usual. They'll be fine. Like I've seen them say that they are cool with each other. They're not friends. They're not going to be calling each other and having backyard barbecues in the off season, but they will be civil with each other. They see each other. What's up? Like,
it's not going to be the same as Westbrook and Durant.
No, that was hatred. That was pure hatred. This wasn't hatred. This was just, you want to do that, Kyrie? Really? Have a good life.
Yeah.
So it's more like that. So nothing dramatic. Like if Gordon Hayward was healthy, if he was playing with some Jazz player, like no one in the Jazz are even going to make the All-Star game unless it's Donovan Mitchell. I was going to say unless it's Donovan Mitchell, who was not on the team when Gordon was there. So that's not really anything. You voted for Mitchell? That was probably your troll.
Because I didn't want to vote for Curry.
Oh man. So nothing crazy that I would be looking forward to watch play other than like Steph Curry and LeBron playing together. That would be cool to see. Never happened, but like
I want to see,
cool to see
LeBron James play with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Hey.
Yo, Philly. Come on, Philly.
Come on, Philly. They got cap space.
Yo.
No. I would also like to see like what they did last year when they put Russell Westbrook on the team with the Warriors lineup. Put LeBron there instead.
Yeah.
Curry, LeBron, Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond. That would be cool.
I would like to see Draymond and LeBron play together.
Yeah, that would be nice. I would like to see Draymond and Russell Westbrook play together some more. They're both fiery competitors. Like I think that'd be cool. Or Russell Westbrook and Greek Freak, like on my lineup, those two are competitors as well. If this was an 82-game season, these guys would have butt heads and they would have killed each other.
Yeah.
But for a one-night charity-based thing, because this is going to charity, why not? It'd be cool. I don't know, maybe a connection like Melo playing with some Knicks players. Melo reuniting with Porzingis again. What? Hey, yeah, cool. Nothing as polarizing as Westbrook playing with Durant like they did last year. That was the main thing I was looking for. Mm-hmm. And they played well. They played civilly together. They didn't kill each other.
Yeah. So I forgot that we had that topic, to be honest.
So what was the final topic that you had in mind today?
I want to talk about the ref meeting with the NBA Players Association.
Yes. So I did see another article that was posted about that meeting that they had with the head of the Reffing Association, head of the Player Association, trying to mitigate the superstar ejections like we've seen Durant's been thrown out of 2 or 3 games already this season.
3 games, yeah.
3 games that they said.
And he's only been thrown out of one
in the years prior.
Yeah. LeBron's never been thrown out of the game until this year.
Yeah. So, yes, something has to be changed with the way that players and refs are communicating into like mingling during the game.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a better way than players freaking out at refs and refs giving them the cold shoulder and then out of nowhere tossing them.
Right.
That's unnecessary. There should be a mediation that has to happen. But I also don't like all of the review process and how long games are getting nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So with the review process, one of the things like what's his name, Jeff Van Gundy.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch games that he commentates on, there's a lot of things that he says that are really ridiculous. But then there's a lot of things that he says that has a lot of truth to them, and I agree with as well. And one of the things is about the reffing. Like, if you have to stop a play and review it, and the play was called completely wrong to begin with, I feel like you should have the right to overturn that completely and call it a different play. Rather than, like, if it was a foul, it's like, who is the foul actually out on? Or if it's out of bounds, like, who is it actually out of bounds on? Mm-hmm. If you review the out of bounds and you see that foul, call that fucking foul. Right?
It's true, but then that would have changed the whole makeup of the game, made the review time longer.
Right. But if you're going to review it anyways,
you should review the whole actual play.
Yeah.
No, I understand that as well, but then that would take away from what I can see the integrity of the game. There are plays in basketball that aren't supposed to be missed, but we are playing basketball for all the years that these guys have played basketball. You understand it's a judgment call.
And it's a fast-paced game.
You're not getting 100% of the calls right.
But at the same time, that's why they increased the refs from 1 to 3.
Yep.
Right? There should be more eyes. There should be better calls. And that's one of the things, too, because now they released the reports of, like, the calls that they made in the last 2 minutes of the game. Mm-hmm. When you have, like, LeBron James on Christmas Day and they say, yo, we missed 3 fouls on LeBron James in the final 2 minutes. Like, he has a right to be pissed.
Yes.
And then you're going to eject him? If you were to, like, speak up about it,
yeah, exactly.
Right? That's ridiculous. That's a game changer.
It is.
They could have won that game.
Should have won that
possibly.
Game. Yeah.
Right?
I totally agree with that. Maybe that was what you were saying, because I remember you said a point a little bit here ago. They went from 1 ref to 3 refs, from 1 ref to 2 refs, 2 refs to 3 refs. Maybe that's the solution. Add a couple more refs. So instead of having 3 refs who run up and down the court, you can have 3 refs a half. Like, yes, that's a shit ton of refs. Don't get me wrong. But you can have 1 ref on the baseline under each rim, 1 ref on each sideline, and 1 middle ref up and down. Yes, that's a lot of fucking refs. I get it. Hey, maybe that would be the reason that will make less missed calls. I'm going a little bit off topic here. I know soccer, they had that same situation where the refs were missing a lot of stuff and missing goals. So they put 1 referee behind each net just to put the flag up when the ball goes across the line.
Right.
Why can't you have a ref on the baseline or on the sideline looking for feet out of bounds, ball out of bounds, who touched it last, and not have to worry about the fouls of the game, just looking at out of bounds, whose ball is it?
Right.
That would save a lot of these reviews, last second redundant reviews and challenges that take up 3 to 4 of real life minutes when it's only like a 2-second change of game time.
Right.
That's just redundant to me. Maybe that's a solution. I don't know. I'd like to know the economics behind it, what the cost would be for those extra refs, what it would do to the gameplay, the game flow. I don't know. Something has to be done.
I think a lot of it too is also the relationship, like you said, that players have with the referees, and it's kind of a two-way thing, because you have these referees giving these players attitude and not explaining their calls, and then at the same time you get all these superstars that are crying about plays. So it's like it is that back and forth, and it's getting to a point where, like, you just end up not helping anybody at all, and everyone just hates each other, and it's a toxic environment.
Yep.
It's kind of the same way as how we work, where we work in a contact center, and then we have agents on the field. We hate each other.
Yep.
Right? And it's because we don't respect each other's jobs
and what we bring to the table.
Exactly.
And I totally agree with that. I think it would be also beneficial for the refs to have to explain themselves and why they're calling a foul that they're calling. But they also have to understand these players, especially players such as Kyle Lowry, James Harden, LeBron James, every single time they go down the court and they're in the paint, they are crying for a foul. They're crying for something. There is times where you're just crying wolf. And if you are going down, so generally there are about 40 possessions, 45 possessions per team in an NBA game. Out of those 40 to 45 possessions, 30 of them, Kyle Lowry is crying for a call. There is no way in hell you're getting fouled 30 times every single time you're going down the court. So as a ref, I would be like, you cried for a foul 2 plays ago.
Right.
You're crying for another foul like this play. Like, you're not getting every single foul. You're not getting contact on that much to deter your shot.
That's where it makes sense if the referee's going to ignore the player and just be like, you know what, just nothing happened, right? But then the times where they do make the bad call, they got to own up to that.
Of course. That's the next thing. Like, yes, you are not going to make 100% of the calls correct. We understand that. It's a judgment call. You're human. People make mistakes. You have to be able to look at them and go, my bad call. But you can't say, I will get you back. Like, because that's not right. That's unethical. You are changing the game. Yes, you are controlling more of the game than you have the right to control as a referee.
That's where we go. Oh, that's where I want to break up the technicals as well too. So one thing with the same day, the Christmas Day game, Cleveland versus Golden State, Durant, the 2 technicals that he got, he should have been out in the first quarter. But being the superstar that he is, they're like, oh, let's give the tech to Draymond.
To somebody else. So, like, I understand that. But
even last year in the finals, remember Draymond got the tech at the first half?
Yeah.
He ended up getting a tech in the second half as well, too. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, no, that first half tech, that was Steve Kerr. They're like, yo, we had
it written down.
You came to the scoreboard and told us, Draymond.
Yeah.
Right?
So I don't understand that as well. It's
like when that technical was called originally, I actually did think it was on Steve Kerr, and I was surprised that they gave it to Draymond. And then later on, when they're like, "Oh, it's actually it is on Draymond," and then they fixed it afterwards. Like, come on, get your shit together.
Right at the beginning, right. You have to take ownership of that mistake that you made. That's the main thing that this meeting that the refs and the Player Association had was ownership. Like, there was one instance a couple weeks ago when Sean Livingston and another ref were headbutting. They were going head to head with each other. At that time, 5 years ago, only the player would have been reprimanded for that kind of situation because you can't touch an official. That's proven. But now that ref also got suspended for a week as well, missing his rotation games and missing pay. So I like the fact that it is being both ways or seen at fault at that situation.
Because the refs aren't gods.
Exactly. They are, I don't want to say another player on the court, but
they're held accountable.
They're a team. They're an officiating crew. They're an officiating team. If they make mistakes, they should be penalized for it. I.e., you are headbutting and you're getting in the face of a player. That's not right. The players can't get in your face. You shouldn't be able to get into our faces. Right. You should be suspended as well. There's been a lot of times where officials are just totally blatant disrespectful to players. If a player did that to a ref, technical out the game. That's not fair. There has to be standards and there has to be accountability on both sides of the ball, being officials or players.
And if not, like, even with that Christmas Day game, it got to the point where I was like, yo, I can't really take the NBA seriously at this point. Like, this is a joke if they're not going to be able to call these right plays.
Of course. Is this going to be resolved after this one meeting? Hell no. Is this ever realistically going to be resolved? Probably not. No matter what kind of authority is in place, someone's not going to be happy with it. Yeah. Someone's going to be upset with whatever authoritarian figure is trying to keep you down, trying to keep you within lines. I think these meetings are steps in the right direction. Is it going to be the final thing to make it a perfect game? Probably not. Is there ever such thing as a perfect game?
Right.
I don't think so. There's always someone who's going to be upset. good step in the right direction. 20 years ago, this would never have happened. This would have been the ref's way or the highway.
Basically, yeah.
But
yeah, it's interesting, and hopefully it'll make games more fun to watch and
not such a pain to watch. Yeah. Because like when players are getting kicked out of third quarters in meaningful games, I don't want to watch that. I'm coming to watch Christmas Day Kevin Durant versus LeBron James, not Kevin Durant and 3/4 of LeBron James. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, that's unnecessary. But hey, it's the breaks it's the game that we play in.
If you guys have like any random ideas you guys thought of to like probably mediate the situation or suggestions, I like your like additional referees. I think 4 would be a nice number. 1 on each side and 2 running along the sides. Right?
Yeah, sure. Like, hey.
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't know. It's an idea. I'm sure it's not the best idea because you're gonna have to pay all these guys.
Right. They got the money, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say with these new multi-billion-dollar TV contracts that are popping up everywhere.
The stupid Simon Says guy that goes to all the games. Like, come on.
A halftime show guy. But come on, I don't know, there has to be a better solution than just meeting and talking. There has to be add an extra ref to the court, add a overseeing head official on the sidelines that are up in the booth that can just
have the
walkie-talkie.
The ones that actually
review it in New York. Like they have someone in Secaucus, New York that does the reviewing. Or have someone in-house in the arena that is just head referee that's not necessarily on the court. When they go to the table, that radios down and go, this is what you're going to do. This is what has to happen. I don't know. I would like to see what the league does with that, with the information that they've got from that meeting.
It'll probably be something, if there is a change, it's probably going to be in the next season.
Of course, yeah. It's not going to be mid-season changes.
I mean, Adam Silver has been changing things pretty quickly, so I'm pretty sure he's working on something there.
There's been a lot of change that Silver has been behind, good and the bad. I think this might be one of the good ones. Hopefully, if it's done right.
Yeah. Anyways, it's we've extended this podcast pretty longer than we would have expected, but I think we had a lot of good stuff to talk about too, a lot of interesting things. But let's wrap it up. Before we go, I just want to again remind you guys that there is this contest that we're having, giveaway, I guess. So 100 subscribers, help us get to 100 subscribers. Tell your friends, tell your family. Once we get 100 subscribers, we're going to go into the comment section, so make sure you leave a comment below and just suggest something that you want to talk about. Or want us to talk about, and we'll pick somebody there and contact you guys. It's going to be 2 Google Play gift cards worth $15 each that we're going to give out to you guys, all right?
And we love to hear fan comments, feedback, anything that we can improve on, topics that you want to talk about. If you have a favorite team that we haven't really got deep into, I know there's 32 teams in the league. We only really talk about 5 or 7 of them that are the main ones that we'd like to talk about. I would love to talk about the smaller market teams. We just have to make sure that there's a fan base behind it. Give us a shout. We'll be more than happy to answer the best that we can for you guys.
Yeah, next week, it won't be as long.
No, definitely not. This is a bonus holiday special for you guys. Yeah. But definitely thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, if you guys stayed this long, thank you. You
guys are real MVPs. Thank you for listening to the Raptors, then, guys.